One thing that I think is actually worth noting here is that should 1, 2, 3 prevail on Hollywood, it would be eUnited's map pick for Control. And eUnited would almost certainly want to bring them to Lijiang, which of the Control maps does lend itself more towards coordinated 6v6 play. So there is sort of a do or die here thing, where I think if 1, 2, 3 does lose on Hollywood, they bring it to Nepal, but eUnited would be well served going to Lijiang. So 1, 2, 3, if they do win here, they get rewarded by going to a Control map that might not be as good for them here against the United.
It's their worst Control map as well, and they're only 2-1 in Nepal in their recent history too, so neither would be good. Their best Control map was Oasis for 1, 2, 3, and you say ZP's got some soul searching. That requires a soul, does it not?
You know what? I'm not going to defend whether or not I have a soul here. I'm just going to...
Sounds exactly like someone without a soul would say. Got him. Catch-22'd.
You know what? This is not my thing to defend.
You know, I do have a confession to make about the car on Hollywood that I've been claiming is mine. It's actually not mine.
Is it your dad's?
No, it's a rental. It's
that's even worse.
No, my Maserati's in the shop.
You don't have money? You don't come from a family that has money? You just have a rental that's above your means?
No, it's because my Maserati's in the shop.
Okay.
I had to rent that one.
Also a lie. No.
That is a lie. My Porsche's in the shop. All right, so Snillo is going to be on the Soldier 76, holding down the cafe, having some lattes up there. He's going to have to be evicted. This is something that United can run. As Unfixed is a jack-of-all-trades kind of player, can play a lot, maybe not necessarily at the highest of levels, but he's got a lot in his kit, so he's going to run onto a Pharah. Boombox already getting very low.
He's under pressure from all ends, and again, this is where 1, 2, 3 is isolating the threat, where even though you'd think they'd be more concerned about the Pharah, which is just swap the Diva, or the Genji, they're really going out of their way to make Boombox as uncomfortable as possible. So this is actually delaying eUnited's pushing a little bit, more so the fact that they had to swap off the Diva to a Pharah. Or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, Unfixed is now onto the Diva. That's what they should be running anyway. They know what exactly 1, 2, 3 is going to run. 1, 2, 3 is not surprising anyone today with compositions. They run the exact same thing, holding pretty far back onto Dumpster right now.
This is an interesting spot to hold. It's not entirely unprecedented, but usually you do see teams try and hold Cafe more, but 1, 2, 3, they're just holding further back, and they want to have a good counter engage and make things a little bit less obvious here for United. And again, look at the pressure Boombox is under here from all sides. He's not able to freely poke, which is something you'd prefer to do here, as Mistakes right in his face, still lives, but while it's going on, it's Voltalia in the back, opens the way, and now United should have immense power in pushing forward.
The waypoint is open. They get a couple of kills in return, which might actually equalize for them, as they've taken out Boombox and Cruz, 2 key components, but with all those finishes from Voltalia coming in, that will be first point captured by eUnited in rather short order. I want to say that was like their first push, but it really wasn't. They had to go back, so it was a 1.5 push, I guess you could call it. Cruz is going to have Blade ready, and they have Sound Barrier to work with this.
This is pretty good for United as far as an opening goes, and it was opened up by Voltalia, who it was even back and forth. He gets the Pulse Bomb. Suddenly, United has momentum going the second. They have the high ground, and 1, 2, 3, this is a game-defining fight for them. If they can somehow win this fight against the odds, they can set up well. Here comes the Transcendence, and that's going to force them back with the Sound Barrier.
Sound Barrier comes in retreat. No one really fighting right now around the cart, but there's the Visor, does take down Sharik. That might actually put the brakes on United's offense. They don't really want to go in without their tank to create the space that they need. Still only the 1 kill off that Visor, though. Not great. They're going to double down and throw in with a Transcend.
Well, Transcendence doesn't really save you from exploding Diva Mechs. In fact, no amount of spirituality is going to save you from that. So, eUnited with a perfect ultimate counter to the Transcendence, and they punish 1, 2, 3 severely for trying to make that one work.
They've been banking some ultimates, too. Cruz hasn't needed to bust out the Blade because he's just been getting straight dash resets coming through, and all the cleanup they could ever want. 1, 2, 3 getting snowballed on right now. Look at those percentages, all below 50, while eUnited is loaded.
If you thought 1, 2, 3 had bad odds of winning the last fight, well, now they have to do it going through easily camped doors with very little ultimate power on their side. No support ultimates in sight against Sound Barrier, Dragon Blade. If eUnited does not win this next fight, they have messed up badly, Hex.
Yeah, something has gone horribly wrong if that ends up being the case. Cruz looking for an angle to get up over top and see if he has to use the Blade. Sharik is also just able to take down. I mean, Valu going out of the fight is pretty good.
No, when you throw a soldier onto the 2nd floor with your Primal Rage, it's pretty good. It's good air control. eUnited, though, doing what they need to do here. As mentioned, it would have been somewhat of a disaster if they lost that fight with the power that they had. 1-2-3 at least forces them to use most of their ult power before going into third, so that's pretty good, but this is just tough times for 1-2-3 given how they lost the fight preceding this one.
This is one of those rare times where both teams did that right. They used the amount of ults that they needed. eUnited, 1-2-3 knew they weren't going to win that fight. Were able to get most of them out. But eUnited's smart in that they saved a support ultimate. So they're going to have sound barrier for their next fight too. The economy management of both these teams has been above most of the other EU teams. That's why they're here in the finals.
Indeed, and hey, you take a look at mistakes. He's ripping through time and space now, not even being on the map when he lines.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's part of manipulating time and space. You never really know where you're going to end up.
I mean, you could end up in the studio.
All right, I would just say hiya and move on with my day. Boombox goes down, Tonic takes him out, so it's a little bit scrappy. Actually, Tonic has gotten himself a couple of nice kills to try to stabilize for this 1-2-3 squad. Cruz is going to have another blade up. For the most part, it's been all eUnited just on the ground, winning these 1v1s.
And the problem is they're winning it so decisively that 1-2-3 is not building the ultimate that they need from these fights. eUnited's going to continue moving this forward, and now for 1-2-3 Hex, they're kind of forced in a situation where they have to exchange ult for ult, and if they fall short again, that's going to be the map in a nigh unbeatable time coming out from eUnited. So 1-2-3 is against the wall here.
Yeah, they've been playing reactively with their ultimates most of the tournament, most of the game, but it might be time to just hit the go pedal and see what happens out of there. Valtalia again gets a pulse bomb onto a Lucio. That's a support down and out already.
And eUnited, now they can dogpile on. Shriek goes to the Primal Rage, and they transcend to make things all the much safer. eUnited now going for the killing push. And they're staggering this really well, where Cruz is waiting for the transcend, but now he can pull out the Dragon Blade for more cleanup, even as he picks up 2 kills. So he has all the power in the world here, and you gotta think we're gonna be seeing Blade meet Spawn Door in just a moment.
This has been completely one-sided here. They're gonna try to get the sound barrier out. Not even close. Don't even get to the point. That was about as bad as 1-2-3 has looked all day. No glimmer of hope from them. That was rough.
If 1-2-3 started out the series as a coach, they are looking awfully like a pumpkin right now. That's how that's going down.
I mean, I understand the reference, but like pumpkins in this game just trigger me. These Genji pumpkin intros.
Yeah, being a pumpkin is not good in Overwatch, actually. That's how you get carved up by pro players at the end of a game.
Yeah, the Genjis I respect the most are the ones that use intros that are not pumpkins. That's really all it takes. All it takes for me to like you as a Genji.
Do you respect tracers that use the Chinese New Year intro?
I mean, it's fine. You hate it more than I do.
I really do.
Yeah, I know you do.
If you're not laughing condescendingly at the other team, why are you playing?
This is the peek inside, and you wonder why I call you soulless. You wonder. I mean, I think you don't
just think
wonder.
it's a great highlight intro.
Yeah, it's a great highlight intro. County Jail as we navigate through Westworld here. What went wrong, do you think, for 1-2-3 there? And I refuse to take the answer everything.
Okay, so you did read my mind, and I kind of wanted to say that, but
yeah,
as far as it went down is that they've been trying to isolate parts of 1-2-3 and parts of eUnited, and they've been doing it really well on previous maps, but this time, Valtalia had a run of it. I think that he had a much better game overall, was not able to be contained, and then when 1-2-3 did match ultimate for ultimate, eUnited won those fights, and there's only so many times you can lose fights where both teams invest ultimates and actually come out on top.
You know what I'm saying about Valtalia, though, is because he hits like a double pulse bomb, and we've seen it so often, and for like 18 months, and we're like, Valtalia, it's a double pulse bomb, of course, because that's what Valtalia, like, it's almost a detriment to his own that he's so good, so consistent for so long that he's almost overlooked in the way. He makes it look effortless.
Yes, double pulse bomb, shallow and pedantic, but I don't know. I mean, it is more routine coming out for him, but
it's crazy.
It's still a really big impact on the game.
Well, I know, but it's just, you're so used to seeing it, they're like, well, of course he hits it. That's just what he does. Boombox, oddly enough, on an Ana of all things now. He's generally a Zenyatta player, and a great one at that. We'll see how he does on the Ana. Interesting rotation coming in from 1-2-3 as they go around and just take Cafe.
It's a quick rotation, too. They save their speed boost until the final bend, so they immediately retake the Cafe. The lattes are theirs, but now the question is, can they leverage their new caffeine boost into getting the point? A lot of pressure going on the Tonic, and he is taken down, not able to avoid the focus fire. And again, Valtalia moving to reclaim his source of caffeine, and the counter dive back in the Cafe. So incredibly good for eUnited. They were prepared for that opening.
Yeah, they just rotated away from it. They saw exactly where they were going to go. They're not just going to stand up there and get 6 onto 3 right there. They all rotated in different spots.
One thing that I think is actually pretty good to mention that we should have mentioned in the pregame is that we were talking a bit to Snillo in between matches, and he mentioned that 1-2-3 spent a lot of the past week scrimming eUnited. So if you have moments here where one team looks like they have something really prepared and the other team is ready for it, it's probably why.
That's probably why. And they both went undefeated in those scrims. Fun fact. Snillo's going to try to get in. The dive comes in over top on the cafe just from Winston, though. No one really goes in there to help him. He's able to zone them out just a little bit. They were having a hard time dealing with Boombox, who's up on that ledge. Such a small hitbox for Ana to begin with. She starts crouching up there, and he can't deal with it, really. Cruz able to take down Bach to start off this fight, and I gotta say, that's probably over. Both supports down on the push.
eUnited is really confusing 1-2-3 with their defensive position right now. You see 1-2-3 move in, and then they're not quite sure who to dive in on. Meanwhile, you have Voltalia and Cruz working the outside, taking kill after kill, and though Voltalia is down right now, it's been very good from eUnited, and they still have an option here where the sound barrier, if it can get up in just a moment, they can bury your blade to bring this back. It's not over yet for eUnited.
1-2-3 made some very good trades there to give them the position that they're in right now. Primal Rage comes out, as does the blade and the boost, trying to get something there. Cruz only finds one, but that one's pretty important in Snillo. They will end up trading out a little bit. Can be good for the offense, but eUnited now getting the better part of it. A late barrier comes in.
And this is where 1-2-3 is just desperately trying to make this offensive push work. But one good barrier deserves another. eUnited being tenacious in their hold here. Unfixed back into the top of the cafe, but Winston is an unruly customer, smashing lattes and smashing players.
Bull in a China shop, gorilla in a cafe, same result.
Pretty much. I think the bull in the China shop is a little bit more gentle.
I've been watching clips of bulls lately, and I would generally disagree with that. Running the bulls, I think, was not too long ago, and those people are idiots. They deserve it. They deserve every bit of it getting gored.
Oh, I mean, the bull is just doing what comes naturally, which is throwing people in its path that shouldn't be in its path.
I don't blame the bull at all. They will eventually grab that point. Some switches come up from eUnited here, as they will modify their defense, putting Unfixed onto the Sombra. So they're going to run Sombra, 2 supports, and a double flank. So they're getting off one of the tanks. Unfixed, the pure flex on this team, plays a lot of different stuff.
And this is the key fight here for Hollywood. The first fight, always very important in regards to can you take the advantage away from the defense. eUnited doesn't have a lot of ultimates to work with here. They're going to have to do this more on grit and finding just an early pickoff, but they're not able to get it immediately. Sharik falls, and 1-2-3 just kind of deathballing this one out, Hex, but to great effect where you see Kodak shielding his team, protecting him from Volatility's harass, and this works out really well.
Great plays from them. Reunited, or eUnited, I'm going to do that a lot, sorry. eUnited has played the way that they played most of the time in saving up ultimates, so the next fight's going to be critical for them. You'd imagine an EMP is going to have to wait, actually, because Unfixed is found out and eliminated rather unceremoniously.
Well, Unfixed just got caught out, ate a Helix rocket right to the feet, and was not able to get out of line of sight now. So for eUnited, that could have had a really good setup for EMP Dragon Blade. It's going to be a much more rushed EMP here. Still, a lot of ways that they can turn this fight to their favor with those ultimates. Unfixed is coming back out, and let's see if this EMP makes Cruz's dreams come true, as Unfixed, looking for the opportunity, doesn't get a chance to pull it out here just yet, and now the Transcendence is out. The opportunity might have been lost.
Kind of odd there, just use the translocate. It does come in late, and now Cruz is cleaning up. Both supports down. Some pushback, though, from 1-2-3. They get 2-3 now with the help of the visor.
Well, I think the problem there is I'm pretty sure the visor was out before the EMP, and that was bad news for Cruz.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, if the EMP came out a little bit earlier, that fight would have been way better, and again, I'm just going to point to the part where Unfixed was caught. He wasn't able to get the position he wanted.
Yeah.
It delayed the EMP, and it made what could have been a very nice setup not work out well at all. So 3 minutes left for 1-2-3. I don't think they could beat United's time here, Hex, but they could make it close.
What do you think of Sombra on this very last point? Are you going to hold the mid-mega? Are you going to hold the top tiny pack? I don't see a lot of her on this point in general.
That's a perfectly good guitar. There is no reason to do that. Really none. You are evil, Tracer. Plus mistakes forces a trans. That's really good. Even with the pulse bomb missing, he spooks Boombox, and eUnited is forced to engage.
They do get in. Vala does end up with 1. They're going to have a couple of ults here. The Force Transcend is still good, though. You always trade anything for a support ult that does very, very little. They got 1 kill after that Transcend was forced, so Nice play onto the back line. 1, 2, 3, a little over 2 minutes left on the clock. Definitely gonna have a worse time than eUnited if they could even finish.
Well, them finishing right now isn't question, but eUnited, they look to keep on the pressure. Barrier is out first and unfixed, holding onto the EMP, but they get forced back. And now, 1, 2, 3 can move into Transcendence. You don't want to drop the EMP until it's over, but by the time it's over, you might not have a winnable fight, and that's exactly what happens here, where unfixed can't feel comfortable dropping the EMP now that he's down 2 people, but he goes for it to neutralize the sound barrier.
Doesn't matter though, they do lose 2 right after that anyway. The sound barrier comes in from Denia, and then the 4 kills come in very quick from 1, 2, 3. Denia, maybe we're not catching all of it, but they tried to engage eUnited with a sound barrier on their defense, and he booped back like 4 of them. Just eliminated that fight with one simple ability. His position and placement great.
Before people attack Unfix's EMP there, he did want to swap. He is now on the Diva. The Sombra age is over. And now we'll see if the EMP is what eUnited needs to stall this out. They come in with the Transcendence, and 1, 2, 3 doesn't really have an answer for it. They have to pull back, but as they pull back, they start suffering casualties. They are continually losing ground here as eUnited, aided by Morty's charge, picks up 2.
Able to get a couple there. We are going to be under a minute here, nearing the end of chances for 1, 2, 3, who would be putting themselves on set point should they lose this map. What do you see as options for them on this final push?
There's not a ton of options going into this push here where you can't really commit to a junk rush. But on the same note, eUnited is a bit drained too, so I think this one comes down to who gets the first pickoff. Voltaya to the back line, Eden. The Pulse Bomb, a tasty meal for Kodak. That's a big devour. Good awareness from Kodak, and down goes Voltaya.
Nice
they deal with the problem, and now with that early pick, they have opportunity, Hex.
Transcend comes in. They also will have a sound barrier after this, too. They're going to stagger it. Sound barrier comes out for eUnited. The later sound barrier, and thus the better one, comes out for 1, 2, 3. Doesn't catch as many as they would have liked, though.
This is really big. eUnited, because Voltaya was not able to get the job done, now has to deal with a fight that is very much against them. Cruz, Dragon Blade out. It's been big before, and he only gets 1. The support is down. It's not the worst, but eUnited is still very much a bit staggered here as 1, 2, 3, aided by Stillo in the back, is continuing to put pressure here in overtime.
We are fully in overtime now, and they still have to push the cart to the end to get anything going here. Snillo does get a kill. Mistakes also there. It's been all 1, 2, 3 in the kill feed with some great stall coming out from eUnited.
eUnited is kind of playing with house money here, though, Hex, because even if 1, 2, 3 pushes it in, they're not going to get another attack. So, yay, they're getting it through here. It's exciting that they've been able to push eUnited back. But now their best case scenario is getting a tie on the map, which isn't great. And even still, they're still fighting just to get that tie.
Yeah, well, why not? They get a couple kills there. Mistakes now out of the fight as Boombox has swapped over to the Soldier. We've seen him do this before. His tracking does translate from one to the other. He hits a nice helix there. But the king of Soldiers has been Snillo. He has been showing up big for this team at the end. Desperation times, they will throw down a barrier. They should be able to finish it out, and they do.
I just kind of feel like Snillo has been acquiring titles over the course of this broadcast, like it's some sort of MMO grinding game. King of Soldiers is the most recent one unlocked.
Well, it's like Khaleesi. He's going to have like 45 by the end of this. Destroyer of Dreams, King of Soldiers, first of his name, Snillo of 1, 2, 3.
And then he shoots you if you forget a title. That's just kind of how it goes.
Wow, that's the problem of trying to say his title.
So here's the thing. 1, 2, 3 finishes out the map. Congratulations to them. Look at the time in the upper left. They don't get another attack. So, eUnited, all they need to do, Hex, 1 tick, 2.5 minutes.
I mean, here's the thing. I like Valu a lot. It's not like that was a sneaky Matrix that he didn't see coming. Like, that Matrix was there for a bit. Just tosses away that Pulse Bomb, and Valu's been hitting enough that you'll forgive that one. You know, people like to focus on someone's mistakes.
Well, look, Hex, people sometimes think that Diva is a demon, and sometimes to deal with the demon, you rob it of its power if you just don't believe it's real, and that was Voltaya's approach, and unfortunately, Diva was very real.
Yeah, I suppose. Don't blame me, I voted for Krotos. I love the props that they have on this Hollywood map. A lot of homages to several different great things.
Well, you know what? I voted for King, and I was victorious.
Politics not about winning ZP, it's about improving society. How dare you? 2 minutes and 27 seconds remain for eUnited to just take 1 tick of Hollywood first. 33%, that's the yellow marker you see on the A circle there. They're going to try what they tried earlier, unfixed, going to rotate onto the EU version of Afera, which means no mercy.
No mercy, and it means they're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive, so it kind of fits on multiple levels. But one thing to note for 1-2-3 is that given that tiebreakers are played on control, if they could somehow weather the storm for 2 minutes, which is somewhat unlikely, it would actually turn in their favor if we buy the narrative that they're good in control, so.
Not just any control, it gets played at best of 3 on Oasis.
Yeah, so it's really good for them, so we'll see if they can hold on here. The line determining their dreams, but they lose Bach right in the back. Cruz infiltrating the cafe, and already 1-2-3 under heavy assault.
Yeah, the 1 kill comes in very quickly there. Cruz now looking for a little bit more. He's just chasing the purple balloon right now, working really well with Boombox. Whoever Boombox wants dead, he marks for death with Orb of Discord, and Cruz does his bidding. It is just mistakes alive, trying to keep himself there just to stall out, but gonna be, yeah, all over right there. United now on set point as they go up 3-1 versus 1-2-3 in the OW Contenders Season 0 Grand Finals.
And for 1-2-3, that very well could have been the death knell. Now, going to control, they do get to bring it to a map of their choosing, which, if we've read it correctly, very good odds that it'll be Nepal.
I think. There's just not really enough data for them on Lijiang and Nepal. We know that they're good on Oasis, but it's just, they play like 3 games on each, so it's hard to say either way.
The problem here is that they're just treading water if they win Nepal. Then they prove, great, we can beat you in control. The problem is that this is a longer series. You have to show expertise on more than one game mode type. So 1-2-3 has a very tough road to victory here, and eUnited has to be feeling very good about where they stand.
They do indeed. The one critique I would have is directed at Unfixed, and that is, it's as if somehow with your DPS player playing Sombra, you didn't have enough follow-up damage for those ultimates. The EMPs, I just think you got to let go. You got to let go of that Sombra. I know it must be fun, but it's not. It just wasn't working out.
She is very fun to play. I'll give them that. You get to see through walls. You get to hunt down low people. There were a couple times, and it wasn't even necessarily this map. Just overall throughout the day, seeing him like just does not quite have a grasp of when a fight is winnable by using the EMP, and uses it anyway because he thinks it's just this end of this solve that fixes everything. But there was one time he lost both supports and EMP'd anyway. I just don't see the subtlety of the character so far is beyond him.
I think Sombra is a very difficult character that people can very obviously look at some of the success that other teams have been having and go, I want that. We want that on our team. But it's not that simple. If you throw the Sombra in and you're not truly comfortable playing around it, she can be as ineffective as not having a hero there at all at some points.